Hello again and welcome back to my channel, and yes, this is the big one. If you've been following me on social media, you would have seen this slab on more than one or two occasions. It is a beautiful piece of English yew, which I got from, I think it's called englishwoods.co.uk. I'll leave a link in the description. They're based down in Devon on the south coast there. And it is for a wood resin project. It's for a top. The guy has done like a half partition between his lounge and his dining area, so he wants to break that space up a bit, and he wanted a statement piece to go on the top of it, which is going to be this. I'm really looking forward to doing this. Not gonna lie as well, I'm a little bit nervous because it's lots of cost involved, but I'm confident I can do a good job. And it's also, to be honest, a little bit of might even say the word indulgence for the channel, because I know wood resin projects don't do well on YouTube anymore. Okay, there's been a little bit of a saturation, shall we say, in social media, and people have now been put off from it. Personally, I like doing it, okay? I like the finished effect. My best making piece I think I've ever done was the English yew copper resin top that I made for our lounge, for our noodles tribute, shall we say, and it absolutely bombed on my YouTube channel. Okay, there's no demand for those kind of videos anymore, but I'm still going to put this one on just to take you through the processes. It's not an instructional video in any way, but I have got lots in my back catalogue if you want to have a look on how to do wood resin projects. But I'm going to do a bit of a camera on in the background, just taking you through it. It is huge as well. I've just had to build a bespoke router sled for it because my previous one wouldn't get anywhere near this. So, well, let's get it tidied up and let's get cracking on, eh? Oh yeah, one last thing I forgot to mention just before I get started on this. If you're working with English yew, full PPE, folks. Even the Merca wood species little poster here has got the warning sign next to it: direct toxin, irritant, nausea, headache, cardiac effect. 4 stars out of 4 stars. Need to be careful with this. Get the face mask on. If I'm working inside, the old air filter and stuff's going to be on as well. And just a bit of a warning to you guys out there as well. Be careful with this stuff. Right, let's get on with it and make sure I look after my lungs.
Vaccine and wear a face mask and covering when you're travelling to and from games, and certainly if you're indoors. I think that's a message that you'll hear repeated from the Premier League and maybe the Football League over the coming days. It's BBC Radio. There for Saturday 3 p.m. He sees Salah curls over the cross. Target is tucked in.
Okay, I'm just going to take a couple of minutes to explain some issues around sanding and what finish I use both on the resin and the wood and when do I apply it, etc. Because these kind of comments crop up on quite a regular basis. Now, I'm not saying this is the right way, it's just the way I do it and I do achieve good results with it. Now, when it comes to off the router sled, actually talking a little bit about the router sled, when you're going across, what I've found is once you've gone right across to the end, if you then on the same height go lengthways with the surface trim bit, it does help, don't know how, but it does help to reduce some of those planer grooves. So that might be, you know, benefit. Try using it, see if it works for you on your router sled, because it works really well for me. And then I get it on here, and with the 5mm random orbit sander, I then start at 80 grit across everything. All right, so just to get those planar lines off and just to make sure it's nice and, you know, getting it level really. So that's what I hit with that one. After then, this is what I've changed recently. I then go to a 3mm orbit sander on at 80 again, then 120, 180. Now, it does take longer and it takes long enough anyway. But what I've found is I get less micro scratches from using the orbit sander as opposed to the random orbit sander, which is quite aggressive. So that has been a better technique for me for that. And that is both on the resin and the wood. So I go 80, 120, 180. Now, depending on what type of wood it is, I might go up to 240 on the wood. I have on this one, all right, because I had quite a few imperfections and I wanted to get that sorted out really. So I've gone 240 on wood and resin on this. My next stage, which I'm going to show you next, is I'm going back to the random orbit sander, because when you get to the finer grit, it becomes more of a polishing act really than it does actual aggressive sanding, if you like. So just on the resin, this is before I've applied any finish, I'm going to go around the outsides and all the resin parts with 400 grit. So we end up with 240 on the wood, 400 on the resin at this stage. Then I apply the finish to all of it. All right, and my go-to finish is from Rob at Amicus UK, link in the description, which is this stuff, Heidelberg Pro Liquidum, which is a hard wax oil. Certain advantages, definite advantages over the likes of Osmo is the drying time. It's drying about an hour, all right, so you can go at it with another layer again. You can apply it with a cloth or a brush. On these kind of things, I tend to just rub it in with a cloth because you want it to be nice and thin and build up the layers. Once I've got my desired amount of layers of the hard wax oil on, I then go back at the resin, okay, with 800, 1500, 3000, and then the polishing compound, which is this stuff, all right, which I get from glasscastresin.com. So, and I use a polishing pad on my random orbit sander, all right, because I haven't got a polisher, so, but that works really well. Yeah, so that's my method. Now, interesting to hear what you guys do in the comments. Certainly interesting watching the likes of Cam at Blacktail Studios, Andy at Man of Wood, learnt loads from those guys, and just kind of tweak things to my own little way. So yeah, I'm up to the stage now. I'm going to get the 400 on the resin, then I'm going to start getting the finish on, and yeah, and then we start the polishing process. So let's get on with it. Well, to say I'm really happy with how this turned out is probably the understatement of 2021. I think it looks great. Customer's on his way to collect it this morning, so I hope he's feeling the same way. I've been keeping him updated with photos and stuff and been enjoying the process. Just one bit to finish, really, slightly serious notes, don't often do. Not to do with English Yew or resin or anything, it's to do a little bit with disability, really, because I'm at the stage where I'm trying to push myself now to be as good, if not better, or on par, shall we say, with the able-bodied makers out there. I might have to do things in different ways. It might take me a bit longer, but that's at the stage where I think I'm at. And I've been working with an agency who's been helping and supporting me since all this happened to me, which is nearly 4 years now. And I see things, and I'm almost going to call it a social injustice. I just think that there's a lot of disabled folk out there who aren't getting a fair crack of the whip. It's a bit different for me in here because this is my own little setup and it's my own little thing, and I have, a job outside of this, albeit part-time now. And I just find it really unfair that there's some really talented disabled people out there and they're just not getting the chance because they're seen as some kind of risk or they're seen as some kind of burden or something. And I just think that's wrong on so many levels. I think, some of the disabled folk I've met since, this happened to me, and they're just such talented people. They just approach things in a different way. And I'm sure businesses would benefit from that, from instead of doing the same thing all the time, someone having a fresh set of eyes on it, looking at it in a different way, which could help support their businesses, surely. If you are a business person out there and listening, possibly maybe you could take that one on board for the future. Anyway, thanks for sticking with me on this one. As ever, take care and look after yourselves, and I'll see you in the new year. Thanks for watching.